Man of Destiny by Bernard Shaw, with David Suchet as Napoleon Bonaparte and Paola Dionisotti as the lady. May 1796. A small inn in northern Italy.
Will your Excellency...
Don't talk. I'm busy.
Excellency, I obey.
Some red ink.
Alas, Excellency, there is none.
Kill something and bring me its blood.
There is nothing but your Excellency's horse, the sentinel, the lady upstairs, and my wife.
Kill your wife.
Willingly, your Excellency, but unhappily I am not strong enough. She would kill me.
That will do equally well.
Your Excellency does me too much honor. Perhaps some wine will answer your Excellency's purpose.
Wine? No, that would be waste. You're all the same. Waste, waste, waste. Clear away.
Every man to his trade, Excellency. We innkeepers have plenty of cheap wine. We think nothing of spilling it. You generals have plenty of cheap blood. You think nothing of spilling it. Is it not so, Excellency?
Blood costs nothing. Wine costs money.
They say you are careful of everything except human life, Excellency.
Well, human life, my friend, is the only thing that takes care of itself.
Ah, Excellency, what fools we all are beside you. If I could only find out the secret of your success.
You would make yourself Emperor of Italy, eh?
Too troublesome, Excellency. I leave all that to you. Besides, what would become of my inn if I were Emperor? See how you enjoy looking on at me whilst I keep the inn for you and wait on you. Well, I shall enjoy looking on at you whilst you become Emperor of Europe and govern the country for me.
Emperor of Europe, eh? Well, why only Europe?
Why, indeed. Emperor of the world, Excellency. Why not? One man is like another. One country is like another. One battle is like another. Conquer one, conquer all.
And govern for all, fight for all, be everybody's servant, under cover of being everybody's master, Giuseppe.
Excellency?
I forbid you to talk to me about myself.
Oh, pardon. Your Excellency is so unlike other great men. It is the subject they like best.
Well, talk to me about the subject they like next best, whatever that may be.
Willingly, Your Excellency. Has Your Excellency by any chance caught a glimpse of the lady upstairs?
How old is she?
The right age, Excellency.
Do you mean 17 or 30?
30, Excellency.
Good looking?
Oh, I cannot see with Your Excellency's eyes. Every man must judge that for himself. In my opinion, Excellency, a fine figure of a lady. Shall I lay the table for her collation here?
No. Lay nothing here until the officer for whom I'm waiting comes back.
Oh, Excellency, believe me, he has been captured by the accursed Austrians. He dare not keep you waiting if he were at liberty.
Giuseppe, if that turns out to be true, it'll put me into such a temper that nothing short of hanging you and your whole household, including the lady upstairs, will satisfy me.
We are all cheerfully at Your Excellency's disposal, except the lady. I cannot answer for her, but no lady could resist you, Excellency.
Well, you will never be hanged. There's no satisfaction in hanging a man who doesn't object to it.
Not the least in the world, Excellency, is there? Ah, one can see that you are a great man, General. You know how to wait. If it were a corporal now, or a sub-lieutenant, at the end of 3 minutes he would be swearing, fuming, threatening, pulling the house about our ears.
Giuseppe, your flatteries are insufferable. Go and talk outside.
Willingly, Your Excellency. You shall not be disturbed.
The moment he comes back, send him to me.
Instantaneously, Your Excellency.
Giuseppe!
Who's that?
The lady, Excellency.
The lady upstairs?
Yes, Excellency, the strange lady.
Strange? Where does she come from?
Who knows? She arrived here just before Your Excellency in a hired carriage belonging to the Golden Eagle at Borghetto. By herself, Excellency. No servants, a dressing bag and a trunk, that's all. The postilion says she left a horse at the Golden Eagle, a charger with military trappings.
A woman with a charger? French or Austrian?
French, Excellency.
Her husband's charger, no doubt. Killed at Lodi, poor fellow.
Giuseppe!
That's not the voice of a woman whose husband was killed yesterday.
Husbands are not always regretted, Excellency. Coming, lady, coming.
No, stop. Let her come.
Giuseppe!
Oh, let me go, Excellency. It is my point of honor as an innkeeper to come when I am called. I appeal to you as a soldier.
Here, someone! Hello? Landlord?
Now, that, my man at last. Go attend to your business. The lady's calling you.
Certainly, Excellency.
Are you all asleep here?
Well, sir, you've come at last. Your instructions were that I should arrive here at 6 and find you waiting for me with my mail from Paris and with dispatches. It's now 20 minutes to 8. You were sent on this service as a hard rider with the fastest horse in the camp. You arrive 100 minutes late on foot. Where is your horse?
Where indeed? That's just what I should like to know, General. You don't know how fond I was of that horse.
Indeed. Where are the letters and dispatches?
I don't know.
You don't know.
No more than you do, General. Now, I suppose I shall be court-martialed. Well, I don't mind being court-martialed. But I tell you, General, if ever I catch that innocent-looking youth, I'll spoil his beauty, the slimy little liar. I'll make a picture of him.
What innocent-looking youth? Pull yourself together, sir, will you, and give an account of yourself.
Oh, I'm all right, General. I'm perfectly ready to give an account of myself. I shall make the court-martial thoroughly understand that the fault was not mine. Advantage has been taken of the better side of my nature. And I'm not ashamed of it. But with all respect to you as my commanding officer, General, I say again that if ever I set eyes on that son of Satan...
So you said before.
I say it again. Just wait until I catch him. Just wait. That's all.
I'm waiting, sir, for your explanation.
You'll change your tone, General, when you hear what has happened to me.
Nothing's happened to you, sir. You're alive and not disabled. Where are the papers entrusted to you?
Nothing happened to me. Nothing. He swore eternal brotherhood with me. Was that nothing? He said my eyes reminded him of his sister's eyes. Was that nothing? He cried, actually cried, over the story of my separation from Angelica. Was that nothing? He paid for both bottles of wine, though he only ate bread and grapes himself. Well, perhaps you call that nothing. He gave me his pistols and his horse and his dispatches, most important dispatches, and let me go away with them. Was that nothing?
What did he do that for?
To show his confidence in me, of course. And I was worthy of his confidence. I brought them all back, honourably. Would you believe it? When I trusted him with my pistols and my horse and my dispatches...
What the devil did you do that for?
I'm telling you to show my confidence in him. And he betrayed it. Abused it. Never came back again, the thief, the swindler, the heartless, treacherous little blackguard. You call that nothing, I suppose. But look here, General, you may put up with this outrage from the Austrians if you like. But speaking for myself, personally, I tell you that if ever I catch the little
you have
swine-
said that more than once already.
More than once. I'll say it 50 times. And what's more, I'll do it. You'll see, General. I'll show my confidence in him, so I will.
Yes, sir, no doubt you will. Now, what kind of man was he?
Well, I should think you ought to be able to tell from his conduct the kind of man he was.
What was he like?
Like? Well, he was like, well, you ought to have just seen the fellow. That will give you a notion of what he was like. He won't be like it 5 minutes after I catch him, but I tell you that if I ever set eyes on the fellow again, he'll
Hold
regret
your
it.
tongue, sir, if you can.
I warn you, it's no use trying to put the blame on me. Well, how was I to know the sort of fellow he was? If you only knew how hungry and tired I am, you'd have more consideration.
What is it, Excellency?
Take this. This officer. Feed him. And put him to bed if necessary. When he's in his right mind again, find out what has happened to him, bring me word. Consider yourself under arrest, sir.
I was prepared for that. It takes a gentleman to understand a gentleman.
Have you been attacked by the Austrians, Lieutenant? Oh, dear, 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 dear.
Attacked? I could have broken his back between my finger and thumb. I wish I had now. No. It was by appealing to the better side of my nature. That's what I can't get over. He said he'd never met a man he liked so much as me. He put his handkerchief round my neck because a gnat bit me and my stock was chafing it. Look.
A lady's handkerchief, Excellency. Perfume.
Give it to me.
Good enough for him, anyhow. I noticed he had a woman's hands when he touched my neck with his coaxing, fawning ways. The mean, effeminate little hound. Mark my words, General, if ever our...
Giuseppe!
What was that?
And a lady upstairs, Lieutenant, calling me.
Lady?
Giuseppe! Giuseppe, where are you?
Give me that sword.
What are you thinking of, Lieutenant? It is a lady, don't you hear? It is a woman's voice.
It's his voice, I tell you. Let me go. So, I've got you, my lad. So you've disguised yourself, have you? Take off that skirt.
Oh, Lieutenant.
Gentlemen, I appeal to you. You, sir, you are an officer, a general. You will protect me, will you not?
Never mind him, General. Leave me to deal with him.
With him? With whom, sir? Why do you treat this lady in such a fashion?
Lady? He's a man. The man I showed my confidence in. Here, you.
Keep him away! Oh, thank you, General.
Nonsense, sir. This is certainly a lady, and you're under arrest. Put your sword down, sir, instantly.
General, I tell you, he's an Austrian spy. He passed himself off on me as one of General Messina's staff this afternoon, and now he's passing himself off on you as a woman. Am I to believe my own eyes or not?
General, it must be my brother. He is on General Messina's staff. He is very like me.
Do you mean to say that you're not your brother, but your sister? The sister who was so like me, who had my beautiful blue eyes? It's a lie. Your eyes are not like mine. They're exactly like your own.
Lieutenant, will you obey my orders and leave the room, since you're convinced at last that this is no gentleman?
Gentleman? I should think not. No gentleman would have abused my
That will
confidence.
do, sir! Do you hear? Will you leave the room? I order you to leave the room.
Oh, pray, let me go instead.
Excuse me, madam. With all possible respect for your brother, I do not yet understand what an officer on General Messina's staff wants with my letters. I have some questions to put to you.
Come, Lieutenant.
I'm off. General, take warning by me. Be on your guard against the better side of your nature.
Oh.
Madam, my apologies. I thought you were the same person, only of the opposite sex, and that naturally misled me.
It wasn't your fault, was it? I'm so glad you're not angry with me any longer, Lieutenant.
Oh, madam, not in the least. You have your brother's hand, and the same sort of ring.
We are twins.
That accounts for it. 1,000 pardons. I didn't mind about the dispatches at all. That's more the General's affair than mine. It was the abuse of my confidence through the better side of my nature. You'll excuse my leaving you, General, I hope. Very sorry, I'm sure.
This way, Lieutenant.
Idiot.
How can I thank you, General, for your protection?
My dispatches. Come.
General?
You tricked that blockhead out of them. You disguised yourself as a man. I want my dispatches. They're there in the bosom of your dress under your hands.
Oh, how unkindly you are speaking to me. You frighten me.
I see you don't know me, madam, or you would save yourself the trouble of pretending to cry.
Yes, I do know you. You are the famous General Bonaparte.
Bonaparte, madam. Bonaparte. The papers, if you please.
But I assure you,
But-
General!
You lent one of your handkerchiefs to my lieutenant when you robbed him. This one. They match one another. The same scent. I'm waiting for my dispatches. I shall take them, if necessary, with as little ceremony as I took the handkerchief.
General, do you threaten women?
Yes.
But I don't understand.
You understand perfectly. You came here because your Austrian employers calculated that I was 6 leagues away. I'm always to be found where my enemies don't expect me. You have walked into the lion's den. Come, you're a brave woman. Be a sensible one. I have no time to waste. The papers.
I brave. Huh. How little you know. I have spent the day in an agony of fear. I have a pain here from the tightening of my heart at every suspicious look, every threatening movement. Do you think everyone is as brave as you? Oh, why will not you brave people do the brave things? Why do you leave them to us who have no courage at all? I'm not brave. I shrink from violence. Danger makes me miserable.
Then why have you thrust yourself into danger?
Because there is no other way. I can trust nobody else, and now it is all useless. All because of you, who have no fear. Because you have no heart, no feelings, no... Ah, General. Let me go without asking any questions. You shall have your papers and dispatches. I swear it.
Yes, I'm waiting for them.
I will get them for you. They're in my room.
I shall accompany you, madam.
I cannot permit you, General, to enter my chamber.
Then you shall stay here, madam, whilst I have your chamber searched for my papers.
You may save yourself the trouble. They're not there.
No, I've already told you where they are.
General, I only want to keep one little private letter. Only one. Let me have it.
Is that a reasonable demand, madam?
No, but that is why you must grant it. Are your own demands reasonable? Thousands of lives for the sake of your victories, your ambitions, your destiny. And what I ask is such a little thing, and I'm only a weak woman, and you a brave man.
You're talking nonsense, and you know it. How do you know I'm a brave man?
You, General Bonaparte.
Yes, I, General Bonaparte.
Oh, how can you ask such a question? You, who stood only 2 days ago at the bridge at Lodi, with the air full of death, fighting a duel with cannons across the river. Oh, you do brave things.
So do you.
I? Oh, are you a coward?
Well, that's the one question you must never ask a soldier. The sergeant asks after the recruit's height, his age, his wind, his limb, but never after his courage.
Ah, you can laugh at fear, then you don't know what fear is.
Tell me this. Suppose you could have got that letter by coming to me over the bridge at Lodi the day before yesterday. Suppose there had been no other way, and that this was a sure way, if only you escaped the cannon. Would you have been afraid?
Oh, horribly afraid. Agonizingly afraid. It hurts only to imagine it.
Would you have come for the dispatches?
Don't ask me. I must have come.
Why?
Because I must, because there would have been no other way.
Because you would have wanted my letter enough to bear your fear. There's only one universal passion. Fear. Of all the 1,000 qualities a man may have, the only one you'll find, as certainly in the youngest drummer boy in my army as in me, is fear. It's fear that makes men fight. It's indifference that makes them run away. Fear is the mainspring of war. Fear. I know fear well, better than you, better than any woman. I once saw a regiment of good Swiss soldiers massacred by a mob in Paris because I was afraid to interfere. I felt myself a coward to the tips of my toes as I looked on at it. 7 months ago, I revenged my shame by pounding that mob to death with cannonballs. Well, what of that? Has fear ever held a man back from anything he really wanted, or a woman either? Never. Come with me, and I'll show you 20,000 cowards who will risk death every day for the price of a glass of brandy. And do you think there are no women in the army braver than the men, though their lives are worth more? I think nothing of your fear or your bravery. If you had had to come across to me at Lodi, you would not have been afraid. Once on the bridge, every other feeling would have gone down before the necessity for making your way to my side and getting what you wanted. And now suppose you had done all this. Suppose you had come safely out with that letter in your hand, knowing that when the hour came your fear had tightened, not your heart, but your grip of your own purpose, that it had ceased to be fear and had become strength, penetration, vigilance, iron resolution. How would you answer then if you were asked whether you were a coward?
Ah, you are a hero. A real hero.
There's no such thing as a real hero.
Oh, yes, there is. There is a difference between what you call my bravery and yours. You wanted to win the Battle of Lodi for yourself and not for anyone else, didn't you?
Of course. No, stop! No. I am only the servant of the French Republic, following humbly in the footsteps of the heroes of classical antiquity. I win battles for humanity, for my country, not for myself.
Oh, then you're only a womanish hero, after all.
Womanish?
Yes, like me. Do you think that if I wanted those dispatches only for myself, I dare venture into a battle for them? No. If that were all, I should not have the courage to ask to see you at your hotel, even. My courage is mere slavishness. It is of no use to me for my own purposes. It is only through love, through pity, through the instinct to save and protect someone else that I can do the things that terrify me.
Come.
Aha! Now you see that I'm not really brave. But what right have you to despise me if you only win your battles for others? For your country, through patriotism. That is what I call womanish. It is so like a Frenchman.
I am no Frenchman.
I thought you said you won the Battle of Lodi for your country, General Bonaparte. Shall I pronounce it in Italian or French?
You're presuming on my patience, madam. I was born a French subject, but not in France.
You were not born a subject at all, I think.
You think not?
I am sure of it.
Well, perhaps not. But we must not live for ourselves alone, little one. Never forget that we should always think of others and work for others and lead and govern them for their own good. Self-sacrifice is the foundation of all true nobility of character.
Oh, it is easy to see that you have never tried it, General.
What do you mean by that speech, madam?
Haven't you noticed that people always exaggerate the value of the things they haven't got? The poor think they need nothing but riches to be quite happy and good. Everybody worships truth, purity, and unselfishness for the same reason, because they have no experience of them. Oh, if they only knew.
If they only knew. Pray, do you know?
Yes. I had the misfortune to be born good, and it is a misfortune, General, I can tell you. I really am truthful and unselfish and all the rest of it. And it's nothing but cowardice. Want of character, want of being really strongly, positively oneself. Huh? What is the secret of your power? Only that you believe in yourself. You can fight and conquer for yourself and for nobody else. You're not afraid of your own destiny. You teach us what we all might be if we had the will and the courage. And that is why we all begin to worship you.
Oh, tut. Pray, rise, madam.
Do not refuse my homage. It is your right. You will be Emperor of France.
Take care. Treason.
Yes, Emperor of France. Then of Europe, perhaps of the world. I am only the first subject to swear allegiance, my Emperor.
Pray, no. Listen, no, this is folly. Now, come, be calm. There, my girl.
Yes. I know it is an impertinence in me to tell you what you must know far better than I do. But you're not angry with me, are you?
Angry? Oh, no. No, not a bit. Look, come. Look, you're a very clever and sensible and interesting woman. Shall we be friends?
Your friend? Oh, you will let me be your friend? Oh. Take my hand. You see, I show my confidence in you.
What?
What's the matter?
Show your confidence in me, so that I may show my confidence in you in return by letting you give me the slip with the dispatches, eh? Aha! Delilah! You've been trying your tricks on me, and I've been as gross a gull as my jackass of a lieutenant. Come, the dispatches. Quick, I'm not to be trifled with now.
General.
Now, quick, I tell you.
You dare address me in that tone?
Dare?
Yes, dare. Who are you that you should presume to speak of me in that coarse way? Oh, the vile, vulgar Corsican adventurer comes out in you very easily.
You she-devil. Once more, and only once, will you give me those papers, or shall I tear them from you by force?
Tear them from me by force.
Well?
Well, what are you going to do?
Spoil your attitude.
Oh, you brute.
Now, that's better. Now, listen to me. I like you.
Oh.
What's more, I value your respect.
You value what you have not got, then.
I shall have it presently. Now, attend to me. Suppose I were to allow myself to be abashed by the respect due to your sex, your beauty, your heroism, and all the rest of it. Suppose I, with nothing but such sentimental stuff to stand between these muscles of mine and those papers which you have about you, and which I want and mean to have. Suppose I, with the prize within my grasp, were to falter and sneak away with my hands empty. Or, what would be worse, cover up my weakness by playing the magnanimous hero and sparing you the violence I dared not use. Wouldn't you despise me from the depths of your woman's soul? Would any woman be such a fool? Well, Bonaparte can rise to the situation and act like a woman when it is necessary. Do you understand? That's right. That's right. Excuse me. Very angry with me, eh?
No, you were right. But I'm sorry for you.
Sorry for me? Why?
I'm going to see you lose your honor.
Oh, nothing worse than that.
And your happiness.
Happiness. Happiness is the most tedious thing in the world to me. Should I be what I am if I cared for happiness? Anything else?
Nothing.
Good.
Except that you will cut a very foolish figure in the eyes of France.
What? What do you mean, eh? Are you at your tricks again? Do you think I don't know what these papers contain? I'll tell you. First, my information as to Beaulieu's retreat. There are only two things he can do, leather-brained idiot that he is. Shut himself up in Mantua, or violate the neutrality of Venice by taking Peschiera. You're one of the old leather-brained spies. He's discovered that he's been betrayed and has sent you to intercept the information at all hazards. As if that could save him from me, the old fool. And the other papers are only my private letters from Paris, of which you know nothing.
General, let us make a fair division. Take the information your spies have sent you about the Austrian army and give me the Paris correspondence. That will content me.
A fair... It seems to me, madam, that you've come to regard my letters as your own property, of which I am trying to rob you.
No, on my honor, I ask for no letter of yours. Not a word that has been written by you or to you. That packet contains a stolen letter. A letter written by a woman to a man not her husband. A letter that means disgrace, infamy...
A love letter?
What else but a love letter could stir up so much hate?
Or why is it sent to me, to put the husband in my power?
No. It can be of no use to you. I swear that it will cost you nothing to give it to me. It has been sent to you out of sheer malice, solely to injure the woman who wrote it.
Then why not send it to her husband instead of to me?
Oh, to... I don't know.
See, I thought so. A little romance to get the papers back. I can't help admiring you. I wish I could lie like that. It would save me a great deal of trouble.
Oh, how I wish I really had told you some lie. You would have believed me then. The truth is the one thing that nobody will believe.
Oh, capital! Capital! Come, I'm a true Corsican in my love for stories, but I could tell them better than you if I set my mind to it. Oh. Next time you're asked why a letter compromising a wife should not be sent to her husband, answer simply that the husband wouldn't read it. Do you suppose, you goose, that a man wants to be compelled by public opinion to make a scene, to fight a duel, to break up his household, to injure his career by a scandal, when he can avoid it all by taking care not to know?
Suppose that packet contained a letter about your own wife.
You are impertinent, madam.
I beg your pardon. Caesar's wife is above suspicion.
You've committed an indiscretion. I pardon you. In future, do not permit yourself to introduce real persons in your romances.
General, there really is a woman's letter there. Give it to me.
Why?
She is an old friend. We were at school together. She has written to me, imploring me to prevent the letter falling into your hand.
Why has it been sent to me?
Because it compromises the director Barra.
Barra. Take care, madam. The director Barra is my attached personal friend.
Yes. You became friends through your wife.
Again. Have I not forbidden you to speak of my wife? Who is this woman with whom you sympathize so deeply?
Oh, General, how could I tell you that?
Oh, stand by one another. You're all the same, you women.
We're not all the same, any more than you are. Do you think that if I loved another man, I should pretend to go on loving my husband? Or be afraid to tell him or all the world? But this woman is not made that way. She governs men by cheating them, and they like it, and they let her govern them.
Barra. Barra. Now take care. Take care, do you hear? You may go too far.
What's the matter?
What are you hinting at? Who is this woman?
A vain, silly, extravagant creature with a very able and ambitious husband who knows her through and through. knows that she has lied to him about her age, her income, her social position, about everything that silly women lie about, knows that she is incapable of fidelity to any principle or any person, and yet cannot help loving her, cannot help his man's instinct to make use of her for his own advancement with Bara.
This is your revenge, you she-cat, for having had to give me the letters.
Nonsense. Or do you mean that you are that sort of a man?
Oh! God, this woman will drive me out of my senses. Begone.
Not without that letter.
Begone, I tell you. You shall have no letter. I don't like you. You're a detestable woman and as ugly as Satan. I don't choose to be pestered by strange women. Be off. What are you laughing at?
At you, General. I have often seen persons of your sex getting into a pet and behaving like children, but I never saw a really great man do it before.
Oh, flattery! Flattery! Coarse, impudent flattery!
Oh, you are too bad. Keep your letters, read the story of your own dishonour in them, and much good may they do. Goodbye.
My own... stop! Come back! Come back! I order you! Now, what do you mean? Explain. Explain, I tell you, or... You obstinate devil, you. Why can't you answer a civil question?
Why do you ask me? You have the explanation.
Where?
There. You have only to read it.
You seem to have forgotten your solicitude for the honour of your old friend.
I do not think she runs any risk now. She does not quite understand her husband.
I'm to read the letter, then?
I do not see how you can very well avoid doing so now. Oh, don't be afraid. You will find many interesting things in it.
For instance?
For instance, a duel with Bara, a domestic scene, a broken household, a public scandal, a checked career. All sorts of things.
I grant your request, madam. Your courage and resolution deserved to succeed. Take the letters for which you have fought so well, and remember henceforth that you found the vile, vulgar Corsican adventurer as generous to the vanquished after the battle as he was resolute in the face of the enemy before it. Here.
What are you at now, I wonder?
Oh!
Ah, I've spoilt that attitude, I think.
Will you take the letters and be gone?
No, I don't want your letters.
Well, 10 minutes ago, nothing else would satisfy you.
10 minutes ago, you had not insulted me beyond all bearing.
I apologize.
Thanks.
Then take them.
But don't you want to know whether the Austrians are at Mantua or Peschiera?
I've already told you that I can conquer my enemies without the aid of spies, madam.
And the letter? Don't you want to read the letter?
You've said that it is not addressed to me. I am not in the habit of reading other people's letters. Take them.
In that case, there can be no objection to your keeping it. All I wanted was to prevent you reading it. Good afternoon, General.
God, heaven grant me patience! Have you any sense of personal danger? Or are you one of those women who like to be beaten black and blue?
Thank you, General. I have no doubt the sensation is very voluptuous. But I had rather not. I simply want to go home, that's all. I was wicked enough to steal your dispatches, but you have got them back and you have forgiven me because you are as generous to the vanquished after the battle as you are resolute in the face of the enemy before it. Won't you say goodbye to me?
Giuseppe! Giuseppe!
Excellency,
Where is that fool?
he has had a good dinner according to your instructions, Excellency, and is now doing me the honour to gamble with me to pass the time.
Send him here. Bring him here. Come with him.
Excellency.
I must trouble you to remain some moments longer, madam. Lieutenant?
General.
I can't persuade this lady to give me much information. But there can be no doubt that the man who tricked you out of your charge was, as she admitted to you, her brother.
What did I tell you, General? What did I tell you?
You must find that man. Your honour's at stake, and the fate of the campaign, the destiny of France, of Europe, of humanity, perhaps, may depend on the information those dispatches contain.
Yes, I suppose they really are rather serious.
They're so serious, sir, that if you do not recover them, you'll be degraded in the presence of your regiment.
The regiment won't like that, I can tell you.
Well, personally, I'm sorry for you. I'd willingly hush up the affair if it were possible. But I shall be called to account for not acting on the dispatches. I shall have to prove to all the world that I never received them, no matter what the consequences may be to you. I'm sorry, but you see, I cannot help myself.
Oh, don't take it to heart, General. It's really very good of you. But never mind what happens to me. I shall scrape through somehow. And we'll beat the Austrians for you, dispatches or no dispatches. I hope you won't insist on my starting off on a wild goose chase after the fellow now. I haven't a notion where to look for him.
You forget, Lieutenant, he has your horse.
I forgot that. I'll go after him, General. I'll find that horse if it's alive anywhere in Italy. And I shan't forget the dispatches, never fear. Giuseppe, go and saddle one of those mangy old post horses of yours while I get my cap and sword and things. Quick, march off with you!
Instantly, Lieutenant, instantly.
By the way, General, did I give you my sword or did I not? Oh, I remember now. It's all that nonsense about putting a man under arrest. One never knows if I just find anything.
What does all this mean, General?
He will not find your brother.
Of course not. There's no such person.
The dispatches will be irrecoverably lost.
Nonsense. They're inside your coat.
You'll find it hard, I think, to prove that wild statement. Those papers are lost.
And that unfortunate young man's career will be sacrificed?
His career? The fellow's not worth the gunpowder it would cost to have him shot.
You're very hard. Men and women are nothing to you but things to be used. Even if they're broken in the use?
Which of us has broken this fellow? I or you? Who tricked him out of the dispatches? Did you think of his career then?
No, I never thought of that. It was wicked of me. But I couldn't help it, could I? How else could I have got the papers? General, you will save him from disgrace.
Save him yourself, since you're so clever. It was you who ruined him. I hate a bad soldier.
Lieutenant!
You mustn't delay me, you know. Duty, madam, duty.
Oh, sir, what are you going to do to my poor brother?
Are you very fond of him?
I should die if anything happened to him. You must spare him. Yes, yes, you must. You shall. He's not fit to die. Listen to me. If I tell you where to find him, if I undertake to place him in your hands, a prisoner, to be delivered up by you to General Bonaparte, will you promise me on your honour as an officer and a gentleman not to fight with him or treat him unkindly in any way?
But suppose he attacks me? He has my pistol.
He is too great a coward.
I don't feel so sure about that. He's capable of anything.
If he attacks you or resists you in any way, I release you from your promise.
My promise? I didn't mean to promise. Look here, you're as bad as he is. You've taken an advantage of me through the better side of my nature. What about my horse?
It is part of the bargain that you're to have your horse and pistols back.
Honour bright.
Honour bright.
All right. I'll be as gentle as a lamb with him. His sister's a very pretty woman.
Oh, Lieutenant, you forget your career is at stake, the destiny of Europe, of humanity.
Oh, bother the destiny of humanity. Only a kiss.
Not until you have regained your honour as an officer. Remember, you have not captured my brother yet.
You'll tell me where he is, won't you?
I have only to send him a certain signal and he will be here in a quarter of an hour.
He's not far off, then.
No, quite close. Wait for him here. When he gets my message, he will come here at once and surrender himself to you. Do you understand?
Well, it's a little complicated, but I dare say it will be all right.
And now, whilst you're waiting, don't you think you'd better make terms with the General?
Oh, look here, this is getting frightfully complicated. What terms?
Make him promise that if you catch my brother, he will consider that you have cleared your character as a soldier. He will promise anything you ask on that condition.
That's not a bad idea. Thank you. I think I'll try it.
Do, and mind, above all things, don't let him see how clever you are.
I understand. He'd be jealous.
Don't tell him anything, except that you are resolved to capture my brother or perish in the attempt. He won't believe you. Then you will produce my brother.
And have the laugh at him. I say, what a jolly clever woman you are. Giuseppe?
Not a word to Giuseppe about me.
The horse is ready, Lieutenant.
Oh, I'm not going just yet. Go and find the General and tell him I want to speak to him.
Oh, that will never do, Lieutenant.
Why not?
In this wicked world, a general may send for a lieutenant, but a lieutenant must not send for a general.
Oh, you'll think he wouldn't like it. Well, perhaps you're right. One has to be awfully particular about that sort of thing. Now we're a republic.
Quite true, Lieutenant, quite true. You're all like innkeepers now in France. You have to be polite to everybody.
And that destroys the whole value of politeness, eh?
The very man I wanted. See here, General, suppose I catch that fellow for you.
You'll not catch him, my friend.
You think so, but you'll see. Just wait. Only, if I do catch him and hand him over to you, will you cry quits? Will you drop all this about degrading me in the presence of my regiment? Not that I mind, you know, but still, no regiment likes to have all the other regiments laughing at it.
Yes, what shall we do with this officer, Giuseppe? Everything he says is wrong.
Make him a general, Excellency, and then everything he says will be right.
You're thrown away in this inn, Giuseppe. Shall I take you away with me and make a man of you?
No. No. All my life long, people have wanted to make a man of me. When I was a boy, our good priest wanted to make a man of me by teaching me to read and write. Then the organist at Melegnano wanted to make a man of me by teaching me to read music. The recruiting sergeant would have made a man of me if I had been a few inches taller. But it always meant making me work, and I'm too lazy for that, thank heaven. So I taught myself to cook and became an innkeeper. And now I keep servants to do the work and have nothing to do myself except talk, which suits me perfectly.
You're satisfied?
Oh, quite, Excellency.
And you have no devouring devil in inside you, who must be fed with action and victory, gorged with them night and day, who makes you pay with the sweat of your brain and body weeks of Herculean toil for 10 minutes of enjoyment, who is at once your slave and your tyrant, your genius and your doom, who brings you a crown in one hand and the oar of the galley slave in the other, who shows you all the kingdoms of the earth and offers to make you their master on condition that you become their servant. Have you nothing of that in you?
Nothing of it? Oh, I assure you, Excellency, my devouring devil is far worse than that. He offers me no crowns and kingdoms. He expects to get everything for nothing. Sausages, omelettes, grapes, cheese, polenta, wine. 3 times a day, Excellency. Nothing less will content him.
Come, drop it, Giuseppe. You're making me feel hungry again.
I hope I've not been making you feel ambitious.
Not at all. I don't fly so high. Besides, I'm better as I am. Men like me are wanted in the army just now. The fact is, the revolution was all very well for civilians, but it won't work in the army. Oh, you know what soldiers are, General. They will have men of family for their officers. A subaltern must be a gentleman, because he's so much in contact with the men. But a general, or even a colonel, may be any sort of riffraff, if he understands his job well enough. A lieutenant is a gentleman. All the rest is chance. Why, who do you suppose won the Battle of Lodi? I'll tell you. My horse did.
Your folly's carrying you too far, sir. Take care.
Not a bit of it. You remember all that red-hot cannonade across the river? The Austrians blazing away at you to keep you from crossing, and you blazing away at them to keep them from setting the bridge on fire? Ah. Did you notice where I was then?
Oh, I am sorry. I'm afraid I was rather occupied at the moment.
Oh, they say that you jumped off your horse and worked the big guns with your own hands, General.
That was a mistake. An officer should never let himself down to the level of his men. But you might have been firing away at the Austrians still if we cavalry fellows hadn't found the ford and got across and turned old Beaulieu's flank for you. Well, you know you didn't dare give the order to charge the bridge until you saw us on the other side. Consequently, I say that whoever found that ford won the Battle of Lodi. Well, who found it? I was the first man to cross, and I know. It was my horse that found it. That horse is the true conqueror of the Austrians.
You idiot! I'll have you shot for losing those dispatches. I'll have you blown from the mouth of a cannon. Nothing less could make any impression on you. Do you hear? Do you understand?
If I don't capture him, General, remember the if.
If ass. There's no such man.
Lieutenant, I am your prisoner.
Oh!
No such man, General. I say, where's my horse?
Safe at Borghetto, waiting for you, Lieutenant.
Where are the dispatches?
You would never guess. They are in the most unlikely place in the world. Did you meet my sister here, any of you?
Yes, very nice woman. She's wonderfully like you, but of course she's better looking.
Well, do you know that she is a witch?
Oh, no. It is not safe to jest about such things. I cannot have it in my house, Excellency.
Yes, drop it. You're my prisoner, you know. Of course, I don't believe in any such rubbish, but still, it's not a proper subject for joking.
But this is very serious. My sister has bewitched the General. General, open your coat. You will find the dispatches in the breast of it. Yes, there they are. I can feel them. Will you allow me, General?
If you dare.
Thank you. There. See?
Oh, no, in heaven's name, they're bewitched.
Here, Lieutenant, you're not afraid of them.
Keep off! Keep off, I tell you!
They belong to you, General. Take them.
Don't touch them,
careful,
Excellency.
General, be
Have
careful.
nothing to do with them. Burn them, and burn this witch too.
Shall I burn them?
Yes. Burn them. Giuseppe, go and fetch a light.
Do you mean go alone in the dark with a witch in the
Oh,
house?
you're a poltroon. Oblige me by going, Lieutenant.
I say, General, no, look here, you know. Nobody can say I'm a coward after Lodi, but to ask me to go into the dark by myself without a candle after such an awful conversation is a little too much. How would you like to do it yourself?
You refuse to obey my order.
Yes, I do. It's not reasonable. I'll tell you what I'll do. If Giuseppe goes, I'll go with him and protect him.
There. Will that satisfy you? Be off, both of you.
Willingly, Your Excellency. Protect me. After you, Lieutenant.
Oh, you'd better go first. I don't know the way.
Oh, you cannot miss it. Besides, I am only a poor innkeeper. You are a man of family.
Well, there's something in that. Here, you needn't be in such a fright. Take my arm. That's the way.
Well, General, I've beaten you.
You are guilty of indelicacy, of unwomanliness. Is that costume proper?
It seems to me much the same as yours.
Oh, I blush for you.
Yes, soldiers blush very easily. Wouldn't you like to read these, General, before they're burnt? You must be dying with curiosity. Take a peek. I won't look.
I have no curiosity whatever, madam. But since you are evidently burning to read them, I give you leave to do so.
Oh, I've read them already.
What?
I read them the first thing after I rode away on that poor lieutenant's horse. So you see, I know what's in them and you don't.
Excuse me. I read them when I was out there in the vineyard 10 minutes ago.
Oh, General. I've not beaten you after all. I do admire you so. This time, really and truly, without shamming, I do you homage.
Oh, no, well, don't do that. No more witchcraft.
I want to say something to you, only you would misunderstand it.
Need that stop you?
Well, it is this. I adore a man who is not afraid to be mean and selfish.
I'm neither mean nor selfish.
Oh, you don't appreciate yourself. Besides, I don't really mean meanness and selfishness.
Thank you. I thought perhaps you did.
Well, of course I do, but what I mean is a certain strong simplicity about you.
That's better.
You didn't want to read the letters, but you were curious about what was in them. So you went into the garden and read them when no one was looking, and then came back and pretended you hadn't. That's the meanest thing I ever knew any man do. But it exactly fulfilled your purpose. And so you weren't a bit afraid or ashamed to do it.
Where did you pick up all these vulgar scruples, this conscience of yours? I took you for a lady, an aristocrat. Was your grandfather a shopkeeper, pray?
No, he was an Englishman.
That accounts for it. The English are a nation of shopkeepers. Now I understand why you've beaten me.
Oh, I haven't beaten you. And I'm not English.
Oh, yes, you are. English to the backbone. I'll explain the English to you.
Do.
There are three sorts of people in the world. The low people, the middle people, and the high people. The low people and the high people are alike in one thing. They have no scruples, no morality. The low are beneath morality, the high above it. I'm not afraid of either of them. For the low are unscrupulous without knowledge, so that they make an idol of me, whilst the high are unscrupulous without purpose, so that they go down before my will. I shall go over all the mobs and all the courts of Europe as a plough goes over a field. It's the middle people who are dangerous. They have both knowledge and purpose. But they too have their weak point. They're full of scruples, chained hand and foot by their morality and respectability.
Then you will beat the English, for all shopkeepers are middle people.
No, because the English are a race apart. No Englishman is too low to have scruples. No Englishman is high enough to be free from their tyranny. But every Englishman is born with a certain miraculous power that makes him master of the world. When he wants a thing, he never tells himself that he wants it. No, he waits patiently until there comes into his mind, and no one knows how, a burning conviction that it's his moral and religious duty to conquer those who possess the thing he wants. Then he becomes irresistible. Like the aristocrat, he does what pleases him and grabs what he covets, and like the shopkeeper, he pursues his purpose with the industry and steadfastness that comes from strong religious conviction and deep sense of moral responsibility. He's never at a loss for an effective moral attitude. As the great champion of freedom and national independence, he conquers and annexes half the world and calls it colonization. When he wants a new market for his adulterated Manchester goods, he sends a missionary to teach the natives the gospel of peace. The natives kill the missionary. He flies to arms in defense of Christianity, fights for it, conquers for it, and takes the market as a reward from heaven. In defense of his island shores, he puts a chaplain on board his ship, nails a flag with a cross on it to his topgallant mast, and sails to the ends of the earth, sinking, burning, and destroying all who dispute the empire of the seas with him. He boasts that a slave is free the moment his foot touches British soil, and he sells the children of his poor at 6 years of age to work under the lash in his factories for 16 hours a day. He makes 2 revolutions, and then declares war on our one in the name of law and order. Ah, there's nothing so bad or so good that you will not find Englishmen doing it. But you'll never find an Englishman in the wrong. He does everything on principle. He fights you on patriotic principles. He robs you on business principles. He enslaves you on imperial principles. He bullies you on manly principles. He supports his king on loyal principles and cuts off his king's head on republican principles. His watchword is always duty. And he never forgets that the nation which lets its duty get on the opposite side to its interest is lost.
Whoa. Do stop a moment. I want to know how you make me out to be English at this rate.
Well, that's plain enough. You wanted some letters that belong to me. You've spent the morning in stealing them. Yes, stealing them by highway robbery. And you've spent the afternoon in putting me in the wrong about them, in assuming that it was I who wanted to steal your letters, in explaining that it all came about through my meanness and selfishness, and your goodness, your devotion, your self-sacrifice. That's English.
Nonsense. I'm sure I'm not a bit English. The English are a very stupid people.
Yes, too stupid sometimes to know when they're beaten. But I grant that your brains are not English. You see, though your grandfather was an Englishman, your grandmother was, what, a French woman?
Oh, no. An Irish woman.
Irish? Oh, God! I forgot the Irish! Oh, an English army led by an Irish general. Now that might be a match for a French army led by an Italian general. At all events, you have beaten me. And what beats a man first will beat him last.
What are you looking at?
My star.
You believe in that?
I do.
Do you know, The English say that a man's star is not complete without a woman's garter.
The hypocrites. If the French said that, how they would hold up their hands in pious horror. Hello? Giuseppe? Where's that light, man? We still have to burn the letter.
Excellency, what were you looking up at just now? Out there.
What's that to you?
Because the witch is gone, vanished, and no one saw her go out.
We were watching her riding up to the moon on your broomstick, Giuseppe. You will never see her again.
Jesu Maria!
Now.
Yes, but, you know that you have the letter in your pocket. About Caesar's wife.
Caesar's wife is above suspicion. Burn it.
I wonder, would Caesar's wife be above suspicion if she saw us here together?
I wonder.
In The Man of Destiny by Bernard Shaw, Napoleon Bonaparte was played by David Suchet, the lady by Paola Dionizzotti.